Welcome everyone to the 224th weekly MLP Drawing live critique stream. It's like
There's your
June
words.
16th? Yeah, it is. And it's, just a little past 6. When you're going to watch this, it's going to be like 2 a.m. your time. You're going to be lying in bed going, damn, I need to watch some critique streams.
You know,
I
all
mean,
of our
it's a
one
lot
viewer.
past 6 for me, if that helps.
Yes, it does. Well, as you can hear, we got Allie Claw here.
Hello.
And a CPC.
Hi, I'm as distracted as usual.
And a Pixie Nop.
Morning.
And a Princess of the Plushies, Fluffy's Eye.
Hello.
And don't forget the Living Dead. Yep, all of them. They all came.
All of them.
Are you like the voted representative of the Living Dead? Is that how you obtain that title? Is there a
So
hive mind at play?
you know when you're the smartest kid in kindergarten?
No.
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 Okay.
I mean, yes, I was just trying to be modest.
It's like that. Really, you're dumb compared to everyone else because you're still just a stupid kindergartner. But damn, do you feel special?
Must be nice.
All right, so let's do this one. First one has been fired at our heads at high speed by embroidered equations. And they're just gonna slide this in here now, restarting the shading with a hopefully more defined light source. Smooth, shiny. Yeah, it is smooth and shiny. Definitely light source. Yeah, definitely looking quite a bit better.
Yeah, I'm feeling it's so the way I'm feeling it, it's like it would be if we're the viewer, it's like the light source is coming from over our left shoulder. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah. Somewhere like right around here.
Yeah.
That's an interesting purple.
The only thing I'd be careful of for the highlighting of the hair, the back hair, this area. Well, let me get a better color. And that's the exact almost background. Okay, that works. So the thing to be careful of for the hair here is it's the same reason where we look at a ball. Let's just look at a ball here. So the light would hit, this area, and it would kind of spread out as it goes around the shape. Now, the ball is round, so is hair. Hair isn't like a flat surface. So what you'd actually do is you'd have the light coming in and hitting this area, but it would get darker towards the edge because that's where it's starting to curve and go away from. So that's just a little thing that might help pick up the direction of your shading and make it feel more 3D because this hair is not flat. It's we got curve going on, so we just need to highlight that curve and show its volume. So instead of just hitting the edge with light here, this edge of light more shows light coming from this direction, where we want it to come from over here. So we'd have like a nice little outline blob sort of thing and have that, gradient out to demonstrate the volume of the shape.
Yeah, when you're doing lighting, it's a good idea to sort of have the main light not come from the direction of the camera, to be offset to one side or the other. If you look at these legs, they've got fairly dark shadows on both sides, which kind of indicates that the light's coming from the front, which can work. It's just a lot more difficult than, say, assuming that the light is like shifted over to the left. As Ali said, that would be a bit more light, that would be a bit more dark. When you do that sort of stuff, you also need to consider like cast shadows and things. So like basically you have your light source up here, and then you trace light rays almost just like down that way. It's kind of similar to doing perspective, and you'll see like this area, these areas probably won't be getting hit by this main light source, so they might be a little bit darker. I'll just illustrate the puffing out of this thing and how it like affects the lighting and the rest of the scene. But I really like it. It looks a lot better than. It looks like you're learning a lot from picture to picture, which is really cool.
Totally.
I am just seeing one thing. I know generally we're supposed to be focusing on shading for this one, but there's one thing that's bothering me, and it's just how you construct your tail. It is slowly getting larger and larger on that starting socket. So I've illustrated it here. If you look at the green lines, that's where I'm seeing your tail making connection to the body. That means from the top of the rump all the way down to where the legs are starting to connect, your tail is popping out of that area.
Looks like it's coming out from about here as well, I think, or maybe even a bit lower. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really thick tail, basically.
I would just try and thin that up. Personally, the purple is what I would go for, but to each their own. It is just kind of distracting. It feels crowded over there.
Yeah, the tail's losing that definition you could get from it, and everything, like, it feels very squished. That would, like, let the body breathe a little bit, and then the tail could happen.
Squish.
Think of letting those farts out. It's just gotta breathe back there.
Of course.
You got any other questions for us embroidered? I think they're in our Picarto.
Yeah, I saw them talking. Nope, they got nothing.
Coolio.
It looks good. Send us more stuff. I'm always excited.
Yeah.
Horse.
Yeah.
Alright, top left-hand corner. We got a picture by Supermarine Spitfire. This is from the Artist Training Ground, Day 13. Draw a pony with a dark side. Draw a pony that is bad to the bone. This was practically an exercise in perspective. This drawing relies on multiple references, all from Derpy Bureau. They even give the Derpy Bureau links or IDs for the images, which is very cool.
That's helpful.
Some of the lines are disconnected due to inking, that it's not completely followed the underline and erase pencil sketch. The perspective of the pre-reformed Starlight does not accurately reflect where she is supposed to be in space, that is, standing behind the post-Reformation Starlight at a distance. Both Starlight's hind legs need better definition, especially the obscured ones. I mean, they just nailed half the critique there. Which is good. Critiquing yourself is wonderful. Especially, and you know where is a great place to train? Critique others. But constructive criticism. Constructive. You don't just go, this is bad. You say, this could have improvement, and here's how. See, there's a difference.
It's all about that there respect for your fellow artist.
The good thing about having like a pretty good grasp of like being able to critique your own work is now you know what to work on. You know the things to focus on when you're like doing new pictures.
Yeah. And I will say, like, also go back and critique older pictures still, like, even if it's, like, something that's, like, a couple years old, because, like, going back and, like, redrawing stuff, or even drawing something similar enough that you can look back and compare the two pictures, and you're able to then critique yourself with so much more clarity because your artistic eye has improved so much. You're able to see a lot of the things that you weren't able to see when you first draw something, and it's been a super helpful learning tool for me in the past as well. So I definitely recommend going back and critiquing old pictures, even if they're not indicative of your current style and your current like ability level. It really does help you figure out like, also like I can see that I've improved in this area, but like comparing the two has let me be able to see that I can also still improve this way. You know, sometimes you can spot things now that you wouldn't have spotted otherwise.
So, in a further post they've asked, how would you go about correcting the hind legs? What comes to mind? Moving the far ones further to the left, redoing the curve on the hooves, and make them look more rounded on the flat. That's what they've said.
If you look at whoever is redrawing stuff here, what they're doing is they're lengthening the legs just by adding this curve in. So because they've added this curve in, there's just like more leg, and it like matches this front leg a little bit more closely in terms of length.
I'd also be curious, like, have Supreme Spitfire, have you ever considered redlining your own work? Like, you could do something along the lines of scanning this or taking a picture like you have and printing it out and going it over yourself with a red pen, because you clearly can, you know, decipher and give yourself really good critique. And I'd be curious if you would ever try, like, in this scenario where you want to fix the hind legs, if you'd ever try redlining yourself. Because I know I do that all the time, where if I'm having trouble with a sketch or I'm building a pose, I walk away for a day and I come back and then I redline myself, and then it fixes things up and it helps me see things a bit better. And
Absolutely, yeah.
it's you know, you build on yourself and you can see things with fresh eyes. You can approach things a different way. It just gives you that chance to correct yourself instead
Yeah.
of just like verbally saying like, I know this is wrong. It's like, well then, how is it wrong? How would I try to fix it? What would I attempt?
Yeah. Honestly, like the ability to step away from a picture and then come back later is such a useful tool. Like it's helped so much in terms of like, well, when there's like something that you like obviously are struggling with. If you're struggling with the picture, sometimes just taking a break can get you past that block. Assuming everyone is caught up in drawing at this moment.
Art.
Us drawing what?
I see a box appearing or something.
I will agree with what Pyromilia said. You have definitely improved. Even just scrolling back over some of your other pictures, there's definite improvement happening. Honestly, this is just a matter of spend a bit more time. Like the artist training ground is great for this. Just get more pictures out. Just you're already looking at your references. We can see improvement happening. Just keep going. Keep firing it through. Feel free to keep posting to the subreddit. We've seen you post all of your artist training ground ones. That's completely fine. I wouldn't expect critique on all of them because there's no way you're going to process all the critique that comes from all of them, even if you were to get some on all of them. But, feel free to post them. Go, this is cool. This is how I'm improving. It's useful for us to even just click on your name and go, all right, and here's all their art in chronological order. Or hop over onto our our Discord and be like, yo, look at my horse for today.
You know, I'd even be curious because, correct me if I'm wrong, but thinking back to Supermarine Spitfire's work here, I mostly only ever see really clean line stuff from them, and I'd be really curious to see if they did a lot of pictures where they didn't always finish with like making clean lines and erasing everything. Like they just worked on the base sketch and like refining it a bit, and not just going to line art or, you know, making finalized lines. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
About everyone else, but like working with sketches more and being not necessarily all the way messy. Like you start messy, but you refine them a bit. You don't always go to the line art, and that just helps build and learn, especially when you're dealing with anatomy and proportions and perspectives and all that. You don't always need to go to the finished line art while you're trying to learn everything else. It also helps just to get stuff out in sketch form.
I think my opinion on this, and I agree with that. Is that we've seen people in our Discord who they don't typically, like, obviously when you look at any artist gallery, you're seeing like the finished work. You're not necessarily seeing everything that they experimented with and tried. But usually in the Discord, the people in our community like to share when they're drawing something, share like works in progress, and some of these people in particular definitely do and share all of their sort of stages. But we see people in Discord who will basically just start a picture and they'll share every stage of their progress and ask for feedback and stuff, and we'll pull each picture to completion and we'll just work on it ceaselessly until it is complete. And sometimes they'll have something out, they'll do a second one on the side, but typically every picture will be a project that must be finished. And I think it is a very important thing to learn that yes, every picture you see in an artist's gallery is not every picture they've drawn. It is just the successes. It's just the finished ones, and it's very important to learn to be able to just like draw, because like that's what Ali said. I very much agree with. It's a very valuable skill and valuable activity to do, to be able to just sit down and just experiment with something and just be able to draw and being able to figure things out, and to not put yourself in the stage of this needs to be like a thing that I need to sit down and focus on and work on and refine and clean and fix and finish it all the way to completion. Like, because then you're not really giving yourself much time to experiment, because a lot of that drawing time is going to be spent like trying to finish something. Whereas if you did a lot of just experimenting and doodling and just free spirited drawing, then you're going to have a lot more chances to just get things done and out of your brain, and you're going to be exploring and learning things, and you can still finish any sketches that you really like, but you don't have to finish every single one.
Something I was
Intricate
taught.
rendering is cool, but when you're trying to like figure out how poses and how like body shapes work, it can be really good to just do that and then move on, and just do that and move on.
Yeah,
And like
exactly.
it's also when we're trying to critique it, like how these legs are shaped or whatever, it's super duper helpful if we can see, like, you know, oh, I use this kind of a shape for the thigh, or, you know, maybe you do a circle and then you add like a little cylinder off it or something like that, and, you know, just being able to see how you construct things really helps us when we're trying to work out that sort of stuff.
All right, shall we move on to our next one?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
I forget. I want to say. I feel like View said it, but like your line art is just you tracing your sketch. So if all the information isn't in your sketch, then like the line art is, you know, you just, it's just extra work to do because all the information should be in the sketch. So like sketching equals yay.
All right, this is by Piano Cube 93, and it's Flying with a Kite, not an artist training ground. Wait, is it not an artist training ground? NATG. I forget the full acronym now. Why is my brain?
Newbie artist training camp?
There you go.
Newbie. Yeah, it's newbie. Yeah.
Hanging on by a Thread is the title of this one.
It's cute.
They say, I stopped for some days, but got back for the makeup day and decided to do this cover for day 9. Still missing day 4 to 8. I don't think you actually need to do one for every single day. It's really just
you don't
prompts.
have to. No,
Just,
I haven't. I was gonna try and like join in the other day, and I couldn't find the prompts
I hope
anywhere.
it's
I don't know where they are.
I hope it's not a requirement to being an artist, because I haven't done a single one.
I'm sorry, we're all not artists anymore. None of us.
No,
are
we're
done
just
it.
not newbie artists.
So I
So
lost
is this
count.
how you become a not newbie artist? You just don't do the newbie artist challenge.
These are not good opinions. Don't listen to us.
Listen to
No.
this.
Don't.
These people are silly and have got way too high on their own silly. So I lost count of how many times I raced and redrew her hind legs before I got something that I was satisfied with, and her right front leg, the curled one, was much easier. I think I did a decent job making her shoulder look tilted, as they should be when you hang from one arm, but I could have possibly been more exaggerated. And hey, since I'm someone who's collecting this type of face, Link, from the show, I thought I would try and redraw myself, or draw one myself too. And in the end, I'm pretty happy with the results, even if there's several small details I think that look slightly off. Hey, it's good to be happy and proud of the results. Also, who collects a face of the ponies looking down? What an interesting hobby.
I mean,
Like
quarantine's
collecting
birthed
particular
some
types of
crazy
references.
things.
You mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it is helpful if there's a particular pose that is difficult to find references for. Like anytime you find one, it's good to sort of squirrel it away.
I just want to say the pinky one on the bottom left is my favorite. It's just the scrunch.
Where are these links?
She looks like she's taking a
There
poo.
it is.
That is my level of maturity today.
Listen, we're all there. It works.
I always really like the look of like the ponies from like up above, looking straight down on them. It's always really cute.
So, you had questions about legs and how they're hanging and that. right now I'm not quite feeling that she's hanging from there. That it doesn't really convey through the body that the only point that is actually suspended is the hoof, and the rest is being pulled down from that central area. I think Alley Claw has shown it a bit more accurately with their action line there.
This is Pixie.
Oh, that's Pixie.
I shall not take credit for the
I'm
lovely
as good as
action.
Ali. Yeah.
You're better.
Yeah, it's like the thing you've got here is super duper awesome and cool, but the when you're doing like hanging poses or poses that are doing that sort of stuff in the air, they're really fluid. They're really flowy and that sort of stuff. And so what you want to start off with is a really strong line of action, or just a line that goes through, tends to sort of follow the spine in a lot of ways. And you know, your pony, as much as you can, follows that line. So like if you look at the one that I've done here, you've got this like hoof that follows it, tail follows it, the tilt of the head follows it, the entire body follows it, this leg even follows it and reinforces it. And having like that sort of really strong center, that really strong base to build your pose off, just helps it be a lot more flowy when you're doing these sorts of poses. Yeah. That's how I approach it anyway.
Swooshing action in the glide.
Yeah. It's one of the things I sort of
Push, push,
Just-
push.
got a sense of by doing life drawing.
I'll also make the kite string a bit denser.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking of too. Like
I
when you
just
think
saw
of
the
one being
purple
pulled,
line appear.
Yeah. you when you think of it, something being pulled, it's like the line's taut, it's tight, it's being like really, you know, stretched. Like if you were to hold your shoestring up and pull it, you'll notice that it's a straight line. And if it was just a kite in the air, you notice there's like just not there's a little pull, but it still's got that curve going on. So little things like that add to the idea, to the motion, that story you're building. Like a tight line is something that it's dragging. It's there's this
Yes.
pony on the line, it's pulling with a kite.
Yes, as I drew some Starlight Flying Kites a little while ago for a Free Pony song, and it album cover thingy, song cover on YouTube, and so I was sort of experimenting with this as well. If the string is tight, it's probably because the wind is like pulling it, and if it's not, then it's like it's fluttering about. So like like I said, if this is pulling her off the ground, then it's definitely going to be pulled tight because that tension's there.
And you can also have it in the arm showing as well, like the arm being stretched pretty straight, because it's like she's holding on, but she's holding on by one arm. So unless she's like doing one arm pull-ups, it'll probably be straight because she's hanging, she's dangling. Or she could be really buff. I don't know. I don't know what she does.
She could be a very buff horse.
super buff.
We don't know her workout regiment. Maybe flying a kite is actually just like she's flying a parasail and just one hand just yeah.
No, she flies kites with weights on her arms, so when the time comes, she just like drops the weights, and they're like these bajillion pound weights. And it turns out
Classic anime scene.
Like that,
yeah.
like Rock Lee versus Gaara, Dragon Ball Z.
It was such a good fight.
Yes, it was.
All right, shall we move on to our next one?
Let us proceed.
Let us go. Wait.
This one's so clean.
He's so cute.
This one is by B-Bun12, and it's called Cute Bat Pony. And
Yep,
they
check it
ask
out.
no questions. It is a cute bat poner. It's even got a fluffy belly. Fluff. Alright. We do appear to be missing a second wing, though, which is unfortunate. But maybe she, maybe she lost it in the war, the cuteness war.
Oh no.
It was over
Look
mangoes
on.
or something.
Is that just to like what's it called, pageant?
Of what? Sorry?
Like a beauty pageant, whatever it is. The shows that like teenagers
Oh
will
yeah,
do.
yeah, 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 beauty pageant.
Look how precious I am.
And then they murder. They have a fight inside of a cage.
God. Toddler cage match.
Oh my gosh.
Don't pitch that, or actually do pitch that. That sounds
Oh no.
that sounds like something that would be right up Fox's alley.
Oh God.
Why
Coming
does
Sunday.
Fox have less,
Sorry.
ethics committees than science?
Don't worry about it.
Because if it's not Fox, it's going to be the History Channel doing it. Right after Ancient Aliens. Toddler deathmatch. Alright, back online of this cutie patootie horsey.
Mm-hmm.
Horse. Gosh, I love that you've made her go squishy squishy on the face.
Yes, it's so good. It's just like, aren't I adorable?
I'm so cute, you can't stop me. Just noticing that the eyes are slightly different sized. Just based on how they're progressing on that curve. So I just enhance the other one.
Enhance.
I'd probably go the other way and make this back one even like
Bigger
even
eyes are
shorter.
cuter. Wait, where's the picture of the bigger eyes? There's the... Damn it.
I just did some little markings
Her eyes
on the
are
front
cute.
hooves to like roughly show some like size markings. Because this one is a little bit longer. It's a little bit too long. And if you look at the width of them, this one is fairly chunky, and this one isn't quite as chunky.
Mm-hmm.
Just as an average. And like, while it makes sense because the back hoof is a little bit further away, it probably wouldn't be as pronounced as it is. And I just rounded off the flank there just so it's a little bit less of a sharp curve. But I really like how all this works. This hoof, this back. And
Yeah,
I
I
love
think-
the top of this. You bulge it out a bit. That's so good.
The only thing I'd say about the back hoof is just be careful, kind of going along what Pixie was saying earlier, the length and width of stuff, just keeping proportions in mind. How the hoof is that large here, but it is much shorter here. Even twisted, we'd still see a little bit larger hoof going on. But it's such a it's a nitpicky thing, so. But I agree. I love the accents you did. It's not just a straight hoof. You have the shoulder area kind of detailed there. And just the overall like movement of these back legs. It's a really nice positioning.
Yeah, I don't got much more to say on this one. It's cutie patootie.
Mm.
I'm actually interested. I'm just gonna go through your history, because that's what I
It
do.
might be useful when you're looking at like hoof shapes and that sort of stuff to think about. What I tend to think about is I tend to think about everything in terms of like cylinders,
Mm-hmm.
and then like trace the sort of contours around them and that sort of stuff. Like if you look at all of the critiques I've done on the subreddit, like probably 90% of them is just doing that sort of thing to try to like work out how things bend and the edges of things, and you know where is going to be the most bulged out point of the outline and that sort of stuff. Might be useful for you as well.
So taking a casual scroll through your gallery to see what other art you've done, it looks like your other art all has backgrounds, even if simplistic simplistic colors splashed around maybe some simple objects, or at least most of your pictures do. I would highly suggest following that up with something like this, even if it's just a splash of color on the back. It just adds quite a lot of depth to the picture or interest than just standing in the white void. Hate getting lost in the void.
But the void is so safe. Not really. It's good to push for a little pop too. I've seen suggestions where you can just slap like some sort of shape behind them that helps them pop, or like a circle, or just like a colored background. Or if you do, I mean, also to be fair, transparent PNGs are really nice. Sometimes if I do that, I'll have like a white outline around everything, sort of like if it's gonna be a sticker. Those are fun to do.
Yeah, I like doing that as well. It's fun.
All right,
What is being
shall we move
chopped
on?
over there?
Sorry?
It sounded like someone's like chopping something on a guillotine.
Oh, no, I was
something.
dragging my hand across the mouse pad trying to clean off some, looks like eraser bits.
Not the bits.
Da bits. Oh my gosh, who is drawing these
Yes.
eyeballs on?
Probably potentially something silly.
Oh no.
Well, bigger eyes are cuter, right?
Oh my gosh.
She's gone mad with power again.
When hasn't she?
That's
been?
why I said again.
If it's
But has
not,
she ever stopped?
That's fair.
Nick, she's gonna arm them all with little knives, and it's going to be horrible. Giant eyes, little knives.
All fun.
And extremely long necks and tentacles and
Woo.
Kinky.
yeah.
All right. So MLG
Well,
Gamer
none
Dudes.
of these people have requested me for roleplay, so no one gets a woo-woo creature.
Forgot that was your rule.
This is how you
Yes, but
get
this
free
is
art out of her.
It's just not free art that you ask to be done.
Crafty.
All right. So this next one up is by MLG Gamer Dudes. And
Another
it is
returning friend.
happy birthday to, oh my god, it's Lynx. It looks like a pony with a cake on its wing. Which makes sense because their hands are like, or their wings are like hands.
Wing hands.
All right. I see no questions. Yep. Let's get into this. Casual scroll through their post history. I swear I'm not looking for dirt, just looking for art.
Which can sometimes be dirt.
Last I checked, they were in here right until we started the stream because they had to go to sleep. Weird.
Who sleeps?
What's a bed?
That thing that you've covered with plushies.
Oh, the plushy nest.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is very accurate for Fluffy's eye.
Yeah,
I
that's what
think
it's called.
Alley Claw has held them all inside of a Rubbermaid container except for some in a basket.
You see, I have this other creature that sleeps next to me. I have to make room for them.
Your cat?
Yeah, yep, both of them. Yep, just my cats.
They combine into one creature.
And that's how Uwu Creature was born.
My bed is a nest right now. It is a bit less of a nest when I have someone visiting, but I don't right now, so it's a nest with plushies and blankets and pillows everywhere.
So, this picture, not to get us back online or anything, but
How cute did you?
yeah, it's... So, I'm liking your lines. You're definitely getting more consistent in your line control. You are still forgetting that other ear. We've brought it up before. Don't forget it. It helps them hear stuff. At least have an idea
That's
of which
overrated.
direction it's
It
coming
helps
from.
helps them express themselves in non-verbal language.
Or they can fly with them.
if If you're that one artist with the super Arab
Arab-
brick.
Arabic.
Yeah.
It is very fun drawing birthday pictures for people. If you have the time and energy, just, fire them at people at high speeds and people go, wee!
And you get hit by the art.
Also join Art Fight, which is starting soon, and draw all the pictures.
I'm excited. Oh wait, that's this week. We get to
It's
find
this
out the
weekend.
themes this week. Ah!
Is the
Maybe I should
theme
try.
art? It's just like general.
It's like when we do a draw along and just don't bother thinking of a topic.
Oh hey, look, they're back. They've joined us from their sleep incubation.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They've returned to the living.
Hey, buddy, do you have any questions in particular about your picture? Soldier.
When you're constructing heads, what I tend to do is I tend to be like circle. Struggle with the circle. That's a very essential point.
That is the first step.
That makes you
Yeah.
part of the MLPDS.
The line of the face that like establishes where the middle is, and then something along these lines. And what this is a bit of a cutout for the side of the head, because the head isn't like a pure circle. It tends to like flatten out at either side, and then you just build stuff off there.
Adorable.
Adorable sneeze.
And
Alright.
that's a super good face. A super good face. And other than that, I just refined some of the shapes, especially when you get to like the back part of this. Everything dips down a lot here, whereas it would probably remain a similar kind of a height unless they're like explicitly, leaning down or something like that, or crouched down or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's always super cool to see stuff. Anyone else have any stuff they want to bring up?
Why only one slice of cake?
The rest is mine.
Why not any for us? I love the little flying CPC Dumbo mouse.
Flop, flop. Yeah, I think another small thing to mention with just the red line that happened in the faces over here and such. With a winking eye, I know MLP does the huge arch, kind of like, let me just draw a circle.
It's mostly the eyelid, the top eyelid coming down, not the bottom eyelid. The bottom eyelid doesn't move much. It's mostly just being pushed by the cheek, and that's why it does the arc.
Yeah.
But it's
So-
a small arc.
So you just gotta do a little, like, I'd say almost like if you split it into thirds, you'd want it in like the bottom third to wink. Because like CBC said, the bottom eyelid doesn't go all the way up. It's the top eyelid comes down further. That's just a little note.
Yeah. A good thing. Oh no, there's no good things happening here. A good thing to
Sorry,
do
I'm
when
just
you're
trying
like.
to critique. I thought we were done.
Nah, it's
Too
all good.
fast.
It's all fine. A good thing to do with the eyes when you're constructing them is just to make sure that you block out space for the entire eye. So no matter what kind of like expression they're making, whether it's a wink, whether it's like an angry eye or something like that, it's good to like know where the entire eye would sit and then sort of cut into that,
Yeah.
because it helps you like leave a proper amount of room. Because it might be able to fit if like you don't do this and then you like draw your ear somewhere here, but like it's gonna look off for some reason, and doing this kind of thing just helps you make it not look as off. I don't think you've done too much of that here, but it's just good when advice when constructing faces in general.
Alright, let's move on.
Let us.
Oh no, they've all gained knives too.
It's too late for
You
us.
had to invoke a mouse.
Maybe they'll all be fluffed next.
I mean, that would be very true to form
That
50 pence a
request.
case.
I need to start charging for these.
I'm just planting bad ideas and seeing how they go. So, this is by Melody Breeze 1. Just Glitterstone enjoying nature and Moonflower getting annoyed, but she can't catch a single butterfly.
I'd be pretty annoyed too.
I meant that she can't catch a single butterfly. Sorry for the confusion. Alright. That makes sense. Silly English. Alright, Pone horse. They've drawn bigger.
Yay!
They're taking up most of the piece of paper. This is good. This is improvement. Using that space. Expanding out. Like eating all the Pop-Tarts.
Whoa there.
Well, that's how you expand out.
Oh.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So, I would urge you to go check out, on our sidebar, you'll find beginner guides, and under there, there's going to be a section on anatomy. Whoop. I will pull this. Oh, one sec. Let me stick it right on our stream here. Bam. It's on our stream. Look at our website. That thing you post to. If you scroll on down, you'll have a section called the basics. Now, the basics everyone needs to go over. I still need to go over, and it's like, what, how many years are we into this? 10 years?
Everyone always, the basics are always good. It's like eating your veggies. You
Yeah.
should never stop eating them.
We all still need it. I still need it.
I should cook that asparagus tomorrow. I mean, yes, the basics. The pony anatomy and undersketching, great for breaking down anatomy, understanding references, measuring, comparing, and undersketching and refinement. These are great guides to go over to sort of explain how to take your references and bring them over to your art. Using some refinement techniques, generally called undersketching. I highly suggest you go over a few of them and see how you can apply that to your pictures. Because we have gone over some of your facial structure stuff before, and it looks like you have corrected quite a bit with your body. It just looks like we might want to step back to the heads again. I think these guys will help you self-do this.
Yeah.
So I see someone has already corrected one of the horse heads. No, two of the horse heads. We got Pixie over on our left here. I think Q pencil case for the
There's
right.
me. And then I got distracted to fluff. I'm back.
All right, you want to tell us what your thoughts on refining this head was? Let's start with Pixie.
Yeah. Basically, the front-facing head is like super dodgy. It's super difficult to like get, and everybody draws it differently. How I like to do it is basically two pieces. You have like sort of the top of the head, and then you have like the bottom of the head, and where it bulges out is kind of at the cheeks. And this can come in a little bit more, but it's like basically what you want when you're looking at it front on is for these cheeks to bulge out and be a bit more pronounced. So that's kind of what I did. What you've also got in the original is you've got sort of like a front-facing head shape combined with like a right-facing muzzle, which is something that the show does a lot. But it's good to just experiment with different muzzle shapes, because wherever you draw them from, they're always going to be like slightly different. And you know, the head shape is also going to be different along with it and that sort of stuff. So experimenting with that is good. The arms are always really difficult. Really cool job. I just redrew them in my own style a little bit. And with this bush, for pony style stuff, they tend to have a lot of variety between the sizes of curves in foliage and plants and that sort of stuff. So you've got the big curves, small curve, big, small, like medium, small. Just break it up a little bit, because if everything is like either too big or too small, it just looks a little bit too real or not quite stylized enough to fit with everything else. But yeah, super good.
Alright, CPC, you want to talk about your face refinements?
So the first thing, if I'm not sure, but it might be happening here, is that you're not drawing the whole face. You're already trying to move the face onto the hair. So make sure you draw the face under the hair. And basically what I did is just, I start with a circle. I put your muzzle a little bit further down, just makes them cuter. And yeah, I just used a lot of circles. And then there's a more broken down one here with the cross and everything.
Alright.
What else to say? Sorry, I'm not good at words.
That's alright. Anyone else got anything else they'd like to talk about on this horse?
It's super cute, and I hope to see more art. Yeah.
Yeah, keep doing those full page pictures. Maybe invest in like some white paper, just plain white paper. I know using whatever is available is great, but also plain white paper, it sometimes can help you out because you don't have these lines sort of nudging you to draw in these straight patterns. You can sort of break out of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, awesome. If you can't, just keep going with whatever.
Alright, let's move on. Next picture. The one right beside it.
Yeah, this one is just
Adorable.
oh my god.
This is by Rory Kitty Cat. I made an anniversary gift for my boyfriend of us as ponies. His name is Jazz and I'm Fabletail.
Aw,
I'll have to work on color schemes later.
it's all too pure.
Too cute.
Let's get more hugs. Also more painted horses. Yeah, painted horse muzzle.
Woo!
Yeah, painted horse crew. Although I just have the butt.
Your horns. Like, your faces are built very well. Your bodies are built pretty dang well. The tails are coming out and they're tucked. Just good. Like, they're... I mean, at this point, there's some mild refinements that could be done, but I would almost just keep going. Just keep going with the art. You have very good refinement with your pencil, but if you were to take a very fine marker and go over this and then clean it up, your lines would pop a lot more. You could... There seems to be with these areas along like these lines here, you've definitely done multiple light strokes just to bring it in on that. My suggestion is avoid that because it does create soft, larger lines than what you're aiming for. That's why I suggest a very fine tip marker or just a very sharp and hard pencil, or sharp and soft pencil, because it's going to transfer a lot of lead very easily. Sharp edges and just go for it. You got one stroke and an eraser. See what comes of it.
You can even take a fresh piece of plain white paper and put it over top of this drawing, and then sort of do the line art, like trace it on top. If you don't have a light board, sometimes it's dark enough to be able to see through, or just like a jerry rig one with some glassware, or if your well, I guess not all monitors have glass on it, so just
I used to
around your monitor, but
tape pictures to windows and do that.
yeah.
Because sunny days will definitely bleed enough light.
Oh, totally. And that way you can keep this nice sketch and then do something that's a bit more refined that you could maybe, I don't know, watercolor or marker or color pencil, or just, something a bit more cleaned up with the marker.
It might be cool to the thing that kind of stands out to me is mainly just these like roof shapes. right at the end of the hoof, it's really difficult to get the outline for those right, because the outline sort of basically just changes where the hoof is pointing. It might be good to do some sketches and just like for the hooves, keep them to just like the outside line, and then like where they curl into. So basically the outside line and then like the bottom line of the pad, and then try to like just do some sketches like that and see how defined you can make it. I don't know. It's early morning, I'm rambling.
It's good. It's good rambling. It's okay. It's good stuff.
I do love your character
Any
interaction.
other
The-
critique would be next time if you do want to submit to us, leave us some questions. Something like this is like clearly you have a grasp on show style, so I'm not sure where to put you next. I don't want to necessarily say, okay, now go push it and go past show style. If you just want to draw show style, that's totally fine. But yeah, leave us questions. Anything from like, I don't like how I did this hoof, to I want to do, I don't know, I want to make the thing feel more 3D, or I want the interactions to be whatever. I want any question. The world is your oyster to ask any question.
Yeah.
We love questions, and that is my critique. Give us the questions.
Alright, shall we move on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright, our last picture submitted is this Luna down at the bottom. This is by Drawing Lightning. I drew Princess Luna. Want to hear some criticism? Or just rate this art, please? Well, rated on an arbitrary scale, I give it
I rated
one Luna
a
out of
hug
Luna.
out of muffin.
A what?
Yeah.
Yes.
I like the that you know this stuff, these like muscle lines. You probably don't need to be as intense with them, because when you have an area of like really hard light and then it meets an area of like super dark, it indicates that these two are basically like at right angles to each other. And when it comes to these kinds of areas on the on a pony, they don't tend to be right angles. It tends to be like a lot more of like subtle dips and that sort of thing. So you can probably just calm that down a little bit, possibly. And if you're showing that with the shading, you can probably even just remove these lines, make it a little bit lineless as well.
It's very good.
But it's really cool rendering.
Yeah, I like how you've gone in and softened out some of the background, but it does look like you went in with an actual smudging or blurring brush to do the background, but without like removing the horse from the equation, because you have a very soft lines back here. Well, I need a lighter color. You have very soft lines back here, but then over here is hard and defined, and it's bizarre because I couldn't imagine any other way for that to happen except for like early bokeh on cell phone cameras where they're all faking the bokeh, and it's like, okay, around this object I can see the hard objects hanging around the sides of it, but the rest is a blurry thing. My suggestion is take a little more care, or even possibly just because it does look digital, so just shutting off the layers that your horse is on and bringing up the layers that your background's on. Make it more consistently blurred if you're going for that distance blurring bokeh. I think bokeh is how you say that.
I'm not sure what you're...
I have no
Yeah.
idea, so... I know what you
It is
mean, I have
pronounced
no idea
bokeh.
how it's said.
So bokeh is the effect when you take a picture with a camera, you get that blurring effect behind your subject. Often you'll
Depth
see it with
field?
portraits. Yeah, it's more specifically the how the lights blur, or how everything gets blurred behind your subject.
Yeah, it's basically like if your camera lens is like a hexagon shape, all the blurs will be like in hexagon shapes and that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
You'll find they do all sorts of weird stuff with cinematography where they'll actually have different element shapes to give different blurs. Like, a really cool one is you can place your iris as shapes, so people have done stars and hearts and stuff, and all the lights will turn into hearts or stars. So if you take a picture of a person on a street with a bunch of street lamps, off in the distance behind them, it'll actually all be hearts or stars all the way in the distance.
I got some glasses that used that. Yes, last year on Galacon.
That must be
It's hard
sickening.
when you look at. It's great. Don't
Actually-
keep them on for too long, though.
I've not heard of this before.
Pixie Note. There, yeah, that's an excellent example of it. That is using a heart-shaped cover over the lens.
So there's bokeh, and then sorry, this is just to help my own confusion. And bloom is more about just light in general. When something's blooming in a photo, like the light bloom.
Yeah. So it's a light source that is very luminous, and it's bright. You'll see it always. You step through a door, and all of a sudden, blinded.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to triple check, make sure I had everything.
So I took photography in college. I've not heard of a bouquet before.
Interesting.
Photography thing.
I think they might have missed out on fundamentals with you then.
The shade.
It is. I mean, it's a silly word, but it's how it's often said. Maybe it's just localization though. Maybe it's just more in North America they use that, and they use depth of field in other locations.
I just remember it from when I was binging camera videos.
There
on
you go.
YouTube constantly. It's a bit interesting with the head being side on and with the chest being like this. This line here, this sort of muscle would probably be like coming up a little bit more in this kind of an area, I think. I'm bad at horse anatomy, but that feels a little bit more right. And this would probably not be going as smooth into there. With the where the sort of mouth meets the rest of the muzzle, everyone does it a little bit differently, but I like to have a little bit of a disconnect there. So a little bit of a gap inward then. And with the top of the forehead, just take care to make sure the curve is there, because it goes back into the rest of the head.
Man, I like those wings.
The wings are cool.
There's something about very substantial wings on the Royal Sisters that makes me happy to see them.
Who did the stuff with the drapery back here?
That was me talking about bokeh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really like the shapes and the green drapery.
Digging through the rest of their gallery, it seems as though this is something they haven't actually done before. Like, as far as detailed backgrounds, this is the most detailed they have in their post history. I mean, they have some beautiful trees in another one and some very nice lighting. But as far as density of, like, the variety of objects hanging around, this is definitely on the top.
I really like the perspective in this. It really looks like she's there. You've done a really good job of bringing that together.
And the environment is very nice. The stained glass window, and especially the carpet staircase thing they have going on. I'm not sure quite what it is anymore, but I really enjoy this just because it adds perspective. It adds like kind of a flow line. My eye kind of just goes like ooh, which is nice. It's nice compositional flow to make your eye want to just keep going like this.
I do think if you're to expand this image, I can't even pull it over, but if we're to add like another like 10 or 20 centimeters onto the side of this, out front of Luna, we could keep this sort of split into that wonderful 2/3. Oh my gosh, there's my pen. We could get her more centered onto this area here, which would help drive the composition a bit better.
You know, it'd be really interesting to attempt with a piece like this. I forget what the perspective's called, but essentially it's like a weird hallway perspective where it like bulges this way. Like this is a 3D interpretation of what the perspective kind of looks like, feels like. But like since we have it, so the staircase would be coming in just like it would here, but the hallway would be going out. It's like the elongated hallway effect.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I don't know what the name of that is.
I forget what it's called, but I've seen it done, and I've seen it. It's like done in movies, sort of fisheye, but fisheye is like all around. Fisheye is usually
like a panorama kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't Kubrick do it on The Shining for the hallway transition when it goes from the little girls with the... Anyway, never mind. Yeah, that's all I got for this one. Anyone else on this one?
Good over here.
Really awesome drawing. Please submit more stuff because it's always I would love to see more from you.
Yeah, I'd love to see how artists experiment and just like all the things.
It's super beautiful. Just yeah, keep going.
224. What is 224? Bottom left or right hand corner. CPC is doing stuff.
I don't know what 244 is, but I just started drawing around.
It's number 224.
Oh, oh yeah, I guess that's the stream we're on.
Yeah.
Numbers.
That's how numbers work. All right, well, if that's all we got today, thank you all for coming, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.